Welcome everyone to this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program First Contract. Now in episode 7, the previous episode, we completed 2 parts of this 4-part contract. We achieved orbit around the Mun and we recovered scientific data from the space around the Mun. Now that science is something we need to go and spend over in the research centre. So I'll see you there in a moment. Here we are in the research centre, and following the rules of our Let's Play we need to complete this layer first, which means researching advanced rocketry, which gives us the Mark 55 radial mount liquid engine, which we've tested in a previous contract, and also a larger fuel tank which will save us gluing together all those small ones. So let's research that for 45 science. And now we have the pick of this layer. Now all of the items in this layer are going to cost us 90 science. So this item is the small landing legs and small gear bay. Here we have mobile processing lab. That's handy if you want to repeat and clean your experiments over and over and over again, because since a recent patch you can't just spam science. You can only use your science modules once, except for these simpler science modules like the thermometer. So this is actually a good layer to get. This is a good research section to get. Our mobility enhancer will certainly work well as a ladder. So I think we are going to get this. We should always get science equipment anyway, anything to speed up our research. So what's in this next one? We get a small round battery. We get our single voltaic panel. Now these are absolutely brilliant. As I mentioned in the last video, it's often the case that you'll find yourself with all of your other devices collapsed, all your charge run dry, and you have no way of recharging it without running your main engine, which might not be what you need to do. So having a single voltaic cell slapped on the side can just passively recharge your batteries enough to get you going. So I always use these items. So I'm certainly going to look at getting those, along with 2 kinds of lights. These are extremely potent lights, whereas these are a bit more subtle. So those are always good to have. Let's see what else we've got a choice of. We've got quite a lot of science, so we should be able to get 2 of these. This one contains winglets, stabilizers. This form of stabilizer has been deprecated. Word for the day, deprecated. You just use the inline reaction wheels these days. We've got a Mark II cockpit, so that's a flight device like the Delta winglet. We've got another form of probe body, and then RCS devices. They're going to be very good for docking. So that's a good one to have as well. So that's 2, but what else? This is aerodynamics. This is all plane parts. Control surfaces, swept wings, tail fins, intake, fuselage with jet fuel, and your basic jet engine. So all the basic parts you need to build a standard jet. I'm not really a jet kind of guy, so we'll probably put that to one side for the moment. What have we got here? Decoupler, small but wide fuel tank, structural fuselage. That's an empty fuselage for carrying no fuel, but gives you extra length to your planes. You've got a large Rockomax brand decoupler, Rockomax adapter, and Rockomax mini adapter. So those would be good for larger vessels. Now this one I'm really looking forward to. We'll definitely try and get this one because it's got the external fuel duct, which is great for making asparagus staged spaceships. Absolutely fantastic. So that's on the must-have list as well. And finally up here at the top we've got heavy rocketry. So this is all our large-scale rockets. Now I'd like all of them, but I think for 2 we're going to have to go with this one. So we get our external fuel duct, so that's 90, And then we need our electrics because we definitely need our panel. I can't live without my panel, so we've definitely got to spend our science there. So we've only got 6.1 science left, so we've got plenty of things to research but no science. So I think we need to go back to the VAB and build a better rocket so that we can complete the second half of our contract, which is to land on the Mun and bring back some more science. So I will see you there. Right, we're in the VAB again, so let's build our Mun lander. So this is going to be a little bit bigger than our previous craft, so let's move up the VAB. Let's begin by designing the top of the craft where Jeb, I think Jeb this time, is going to be situated. So let's put on our parachute, and because we're going to be returning a larger load, let's put on our parachutes. Let's make sure we've got 2 of those. That's good. And what else we're going to need? We are going to need some science. So let's put science junior on. Now this faces the wrong way, so let's turn it round. Oh, not that way. Let's turn it round this way so it faces backwards. That's good. And let's put our Kerbal engineering system on the bottom there so we can check on our delta V that we need. Right, now we've got our thermometer, so let's get our thermometer mounted down here somewhere, and our goo canisters. We'll have 2 of those again, keep ourselves balanced. Okay, I think that's it for science, although just for a bit of role play, let's get our transmitter on, just 1 of them. Thank you very much. As usual, we've got 2 of those as well, so let's just put 1 on. That's all we need. That all looks just dandy. Okay, right. Next, let's build our landing stage. Now, I like to have quite a wide base to my landing stage, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a fuel tank here, and then we shall have 3 of these positioned around the edge like so, and then we can have, oops, get these on straight. There we go. That's good enough, I think. That'll be a nice wide base to put our legs onto. Now, before I forget, let's put some struts in place. Keep these things solidly fixed to the body of the craft. There we go, that'll be about right. There we go. Great, now I need some engines. LV909 should be just fine. Let's put one in the middle. That'll be more than powerful enough, I think. Let's have a look, shall we? Now, we're not going to be in the atmosphere, and that gives us a total of 3,602 delta V. So that's for transferring to the Mun, which is about 1100. Then we've got another 640, so call that 700, make that 1800 to get onto the surface of the Mun, and it won't cost us another 1800 to get back, because of course we're using gravity and drag to get us down onto the surface of Kerbin, so that should all be good. So let's compact that back and just finish off our design. Now let's have a look. What else do we need? Batteries and the likes. Let's have a look at utilities. Right, now we've got our photovoltaic panels, so we shall have some of my favourite photovoltaic panels. Excellent. That's good. We've got our new round batteries, so that'll be something to keep charged with our photovoltaic cells, panels. That's all good. And of course we will need some landing legs. Now landing legs I think are utilities. There we go. Yep, got the wrong panel. There we go, utilities. So we shall have 6 in all. If that's not stable enough, I don't know what is. So they're symmetrical. No, they're not, are they? These ones are in the wrong place. Move those round a tad. There we go. Much better. Now, in the unlikely event we land in the dark, let's have some landing lights. And what else? What else do we need? Aha, of course. We need our mobility enhancer, otherwise known as a ladder. Now we don't need 3 of them, so let's cut the symmetry and plonk these down like so. Let's just use Alt-click to copy. And again. And need a few more. Now we don't have a ladder to take us to ground level, but the gravity on the mun's quite low, so that should be fine. We just have to jump up, or use a rocket pack, and then climb in the rest of the way. Now that looks all good. Let's name this part of the craft. This is going to be Mun Lander Mark 1. Not that we're going to have that many marks, I suppose, but let's keep up the naming convention anyway. So let's save that. And I think next we need to consider our launch craft. Let's get these on. I'm a bit pedantic about, a bit OCD about getting these level, and of course having 3 of them. So let's get that in there, resave it. And then I think we need to take a quick trip to the wiki and just double check what we need in way of landing stage. Landing stage? We've got our landing stage. Launching stage. We need a brief bit of research to see what we're going to need to lift this vehicle. So I will be right back. Okay, so we need some asparagus staging, I think, to lift this vehicle into the sky, and I think we're going to need to do something a bit fancy with the engines as well. So let's get our separator on, and let's start using our new larger fuel tanks like so. Now let's set up the basics first. Let's just show how our asparagus staging is going to work, and then let's do some refinements. So first things first, we're going to set up pairs of engines on either side of our main central stage. So again, we will pick a couple of our longer tanks. 1 and 2. We will put our more powerful engines on the outside, and this is where the asparagus staging comes in. We are going to feed fuel from the outer tanks to the center tank in order to keep this tank full throughout the flight, dropping this tank when it becomes empty. So let's just make sure we've got our staging right so far. There we go, I think that's about right. So what's going to happen is we're going to fire all 3 of these engines all at once, but this engine is going to draw fuel from the outside tanks first. So these will drop more rapidly in fuel than this one will, so by the time these ones are empty, this one will still be full. The idea is we drop the outer tanks, we still have a full inner tank, and it's more efficient because we've dropped our waste load. So that's the theory, but we have a problem. And the problem is this central stage, this one here, doesn't have much thrust. So how are we going to solve that? I think we need to use this super duper tri-coupler. Now we're going to have to rotate it, I think. Get it to fit in there just right. I think that'll be a bit better. Just clears that, I think. Right, and then we can put 3 of these engines on. Now it will mean that they use 3 times the fuel, but at least now we've got a much better thrust to weight ratio. Excellent. Well, let's just save that. And I think now what we need to do, because we don't have nearly enough meters per second, no nearly enough delta V, is I think we need to duplicate this stage. Go on, in you go. There we go. And we need to correct the pipe work because we want this one to feed this way. And finally, let's duplicate this again and see if we can't squeeze in another one. 6-way symmetry. There we go. Right. Now, because this one's feeding into this one, which feeds into this one, which feeds into the centre, these ones are going to run out very, very rapidly. So these tanks are going to drop first. So that's that set of tanks, that set of separators there. So let's sort that out. Darn it, missed it. So that's those ones into there. Is that right? Yep. Then these ones are going to drop. So that is the second set, that's set there. Grab those. Right, and then the final set, just make sure we've got the right ones, is that set here. Now again, I think we need some struts just to sort that out. So let's get a pair of struts running to there. A pair of struts, oh, I can't quite see, running in here to there. Is that right? God, wrong! Ah! One tick over. There we go. And finally, one there. That's not right, is it? Is it? Yeah, it is. Excellent. Perfect. Excellent. Right. I think that is a pretty decent launcher. Now it still shows us a little bit short, but not all of it will be in the atmosphere. So I think we will just about be alright. We'll be pretty close. So we'll have to go for, what, a 75 kilometre orbit, because we're going to be a bit short. But I think we'll just about make it. That'll be the additional efficiency of this design. Now I think we need to cram in our good old winglets, so let's see if we can cram those in. So we want 6-way symmetry to squeeze between those tanks. There we go. That's good. And we need our stability enhancers. So we get 2 there, 2 here. There we go. And our final 2 in here. Not level, are they? Looks like I'm going to have to correct these ones. Didn't get them level. There we go. Come on. You can see the red colour suggesting they're not going to mate with the body, but if you just move them or move your point of view, they will eventually ping into place. So let's shift click and lower this back down near the ground. We didn't need it quite so high up. There we go. That is looking classy. Now I'm getting a little bit worried that maybe this top will wobble about a bit, but it's not too tall, so perhaps we will just leave it be for now and we'll see how it performs on the launch pad. So I think we'll save that, just double check our staging. So we've got our parachutes at the top, yeah, and then we've got that decoupler there, and the 4 engines of our lander. We've then got last, that set. In the middle, that set. And finally we've got that set. Then we've got all our engines and all our stability enhancers. Now we've got all our science we could possibly have, including 2 thermometers. So let's get symmetry off. Let's just tap that on there. I don't think we have any other science that we can use. I mean, that's way too big, way too heavy for this operation, so we won't be using the lab, but I think only 1 set of science will do just fine for completing our mission handsomely. So I think that's it. I think we'll save that and we'll head on out to the launch pad and take this ship to the Mun. I'll see you there. The more astute amongst you may have noticed we're not actually on the launch pad. We are in fact back in the VAB because Jeb pointed out there aren't many problems that can't be solved with more parachutes, and this vehicle could do with more parachutes. So let's drop 3 additional parachutes onto the top stage, because we're bringing the entire thing back, to give us a little bit of a better chance of recovering the whole vehicle and not have it shatter when it hits the ground. So with that, I think we'll end the episode here. I'd like to thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next video when we'll head off for a landing on the Mun. Thank you very much. Bye bye.